Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Disability Employment Awareness Month or National Disability Employment Awareness Month 365. And I am Denise Barnes, and I am bringing you this webinar as the facilitator from the Florida Center for Inclusive Communities at the University of South Florida. Someone needs to mute their mic. Your initials are JM. Sorry about that. And so let me preface this by saying that we will be talking about a lot of stuff, and I'll be sharing a lot of links, and I've had to disable a lot of links with all the changes that have occurred with the federal government. Some of those programs have not been reinitiated for 2025, but there are some alternatives out there, and I will share everything that I can to ensure that we have great information so that we can provide Disability Employment Awareness Month 365. Such as this video is no longer present. So I have a couple more videos that I'll show near. Actually, I have one I can go find right now.
I cannot hear them. No volume. None.
Sorry, I have to admit these couple people. Sorry.
What now?
Yeah.
Can't hear the video.
Okay, give me a second. Hold on.
Another one.
I gotta find my controls again. Hold on. Okay, starting the video over. I apologize for that. But just know if I have to admit anyone, it will pause the video for a second while I admit them. Can you hear the sound this time?
Yes.
Wilson Waldrop started his journey with Goodwill as a student at high school high tech. After graduating, he began volunteering at the Goodwill in Port Charlotte, working on developing job skills with his coach, Mary Jane Nickerson, a Goodwill Pathways to Work employment consultant.
So I first met Will when he started volunteering at our Port Charlotte store. He did a fantastic job. You could tell he enjoyed it. He was always doing what he could to be very helpful. You know, he wanted to be helpful. He enjoyed being there and things like that.
Shani got promoted to manager of the Kings Highway Goodwill and thought of Will when a position opened up and offered him his first job.
She said, I will hire Will. I want Will.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
School high tech. After graduating, he began volunteering at the Goodwill in Port Charlotte, working on developing job skills with his coach, Mary Jane Nickerson, a Goodwill Pathways to Work employment consultant.
So I first met Will when he started volunteering at our Port Charlotte store. He did a fantastic job. You could tell he enjoyed it. He was always doing what he could to be very helpful. You know, he wanted to be helpful. He enjoyed being there and things like that.
Shani got promoted to manager of the Kings Highway Goodwill and thought of Will when a position opened up and offered him his first job.
She said, I will hire Will. I want Will. I've been over at that store and I have watched him work and how dedicated he is and how, you know, he calls in even as a volunteer when he's not coming and how he comes and he gets in here and he works. He doesn't sit, he doesn't take breaks, he just works. She said, and I will hire him. I want him. And so she did whatever she could to hire him.
Part of our mission is, to help people overcome any barriers or boundaries. And through Pathways, he was able to do that. And then he was able to, get a job. And, it's nice to see it all come full circle.
Will is very polite, gets along very well with his other associates, and is very good with the customers.
All the customers know who he is because he's out on the floor and he greets people, he will help people. I have watched him go from one end of the store to get something for a customer and go all the way to the other. And he has trouble with his hips and he has some trouble walking sometimes, but he will do it, and no questions asked. That's Will.
He'll find things also that might be priced or damaged or something that could hurt our customer that he'll bring back in here. Stuff that we're not telling him to do, but he does on his own.
He gives 150%, not 110, 150. That's Will. And always with a smile on his face, always.
Will has been with Goodwill for 3 years now and loves every minute of it.
I love Goodwill because I love it here. It's nice and love helping the customers.
So that is a little bit about to show you what Disability Employment Awareness Month is all about. And so my goal, the goal of this webinar is to encourage all of you, whether you are an employment professional, a caregiver, a school transition professional, or you are someone who knows or works with an individual who has a disability. National Disability Employment Awareness Month is something that we can continue, you can do locally. We're going to talk about some of these in detail. So we're going to talk about using the National Dean Kickoff and Ongoing Disability Awareness Initiative, which has been paused. We're going to talk about everyone trying to host a Disability Mentoring Day, sponsoring a Lunch and Learn series about disability issues with employers, because that gets them interested in hiring individuals with disabilities, providing volunteer opportunities to your employees or at your places of business, or if you have friends family members who own businesses at those places, displaying the posters that you can get free. Hopefully we will have a 2025 NDEAM poster. And then you can post those, you can request them, they ship them to you free, you can put them up. Offering sign language at your trainings, or offering, if you are an interpreter, offering sign language services to an employer for an event on disability awareness, interviewing students with disabilities, and offering or assisting them with campus recruiting trips, hosting a disability one-on-one event for employees, hosting one for employers, and then incorporating disability into your onboarding process at your own companies or agencies that you may work with. So hosting a disability mentoring day is something that can be done once. The month of October is considered National Disability Mentoring Awareness Month, and that's where we get the title NDEAM. There are some resources. Usually there is an event or a launch for the season that starts on the third Wednesday of each October. And you can choose that day to host an event. And that event can be a lunch and learn series. It can be where if you're a private employer, you can bring someone in and allow them to job shadow one or more individuals at your company, and provide them a brief meal and a tour. Or you can find a location that has multiple job roles and allow people to job shadow for the day or half a day. Sometimes people get really creative in this effort, and they may do it for the week. So when I was in Detroit, I worked for here you guys call it Career Source, the one-stop centers. And so there were 7 one-stop centers across the city of Detroit, and all the centers had students come in and job shadow for the day, and we provided lunch. And the schools were the ones who provided the transportation. And so it's very easy to do. It can be small or it can be big. You work your way up. I would start small and then work big, unless you have multiple partners in the community to assist you. And so you set up the event in your community, and then you make connections between the students with disabilities and the employment place that's going to be job shadowing and providing things for individuals. You can make those connections also with high schools, colleges, and universities, local and state disability organizations and businesses. So during the Disability Mentoring Day, they can either do job shadowing, where they actually work with someone and learn about their job and what they do, learn the task, and they actually get to perform those tasks during the day. It can be one-on-one mentoring, where you have a individual who is interested, let's say in engineering, and you know someone that's in engineering, and you have them provide mentoring to them that day, and or have them agree to do it for a year or 6 months or something like that. So that helps. That's also part of disability mentoring. Panel discussions, where you bring in either bring in employers and have people with disabilities talk about what it's like working, or you bring in persons with disabilities and have them listen to someone talk about different types of jobs and the career paths that they took and what it took to get there. You can also hold informational interviews, help them practice interviewing for jobs, especially those questions about tell us about you, or tell me about yourself, and tell me your weaknesses and your strengths and stuff like that. And then you can also sign up or look for nationwide mentoring opportunities for the individuals that you work with. I know that Best Buddies is expanding to adults, and that's what they're doing, is nationwide mentoring for adults with disabilities. So some of the resources that are out there are some things that you can do. You can create in your area an employee resource group, and that's where employees get together and they talk about, looking for a job, the steps for looking for a job, similar to the things that they do doing Project Search. And they talk about the process and how to apply for a job, how to get a job, how to maintain employment, and what issues people may be having, to come up with resources to do those things. You can create for your local community a business resource group or affinity group, where employers get together and talk about some of the things that are going on with them in regards to hiring individuals with disabilities and provide resources for them. If you want a copy of the DMD toolkit, I think I downloaded it before they disabled that website, and I can send that out for individuals to do that. You can also use pre-screen college students with disabilities for DEEM, and that's a great way to get involved in the Federal Exchange on Employment and Disability Fee. And that's an interagency working group focused on information sharing, best practices, and collaborative partnerships. The employee research group, as I said before, you can join one or you can create one in your area, and they're designed to make the federal government a model employer of people with disabilities. But you can also go beyond the federal government. You can go with the local government. You can go with local businesses and help them work towards making sure that everyone is acceptable and accessible. Are you guys having trouble hearing me? Okay. Other resources that you can use, Jan, there's a website called askjan.org, and askjan.org, they actually have accommodations for every disability that exists. And so you may be working with someone, an employer is concerned about a person's disability. You can give them a list of accommodations that are available for that disability, or you can look specifically for the areas that that person struggles with. There is, you can create a campaign for disability employment in your area to get multiple people to do it at the same time, so many more people get an opportunity to do it. And then there's the workforce recruitment programs that goes through the career sources here in Florida. So this is the poster from last year, and they offered it in two different ways. One that already had images included, and then they had one that you could edit, and you can add images of people that you knew who were employed in the community, and you can share those. And you can order more than one poster. Every year they typically, prior to this year, had a new poster. You can always go back and download posters from previous years. And this helps you frame your kickoff event. And it also helps give influence year-round to activities, especially if some local businesses are displaying these posters in their windows. So here's another video about Disability Employment Awareness Month.
Hi, my name is Sandra Scara, and my son is Luis Gallegos. Luis is 19 years old, and he's on the autism spectrum. At first, I felt scared for Luis going into the workforce. He feels accepted, which is what he wanted. As an adult now, he realized I'm an adult on the spectrum. I want to be accepted. And this job, I feel like he finally found that peace with himself. Every day he teaches me that he's more independent and he can do this on his own.
That's another example of successful Disability Employment Awareness Month. We've watched this video at the beginning to explain what Disability Employment Awareness Month was. So we're going to skip that one, and I'll come back to these other videos at the end after I go over a lot of the other information that's in here. So sponsor a Lunch and Learn series about disability issues. You can have, you can do it yourself. You can invite employers to attend in person, or you can have them attend virtually and just talk about disability issues. And some of the things that we have done is the Autism Inclusion Series with CARD and FCIC, and then with Florida APSI, we did one called Epilepsy in the Workplace. And you can pick any disability and talk about that in the workplace. And as I said, it can be virtual or it can be hybrid. You want to provide volunteer opportunities for your employees to be able to support and promote the events of local nonprofits, that you can partner with other agencies your employees can. You can offer or apply for volunteer grants that as an agency or a company that you guys can get if you do certain things in the community. There's always, like, Martin Luther King grants are always out there for groups of people to do different things with different goals and objectives, but the funding is always there every single year. You can offer a variety of options of ways for them to volunteer. It can be for a week, it can be for a month, or it can be over the summer that they volunteer. And then you want to make sure with those volunteer opportunities that they align with your company values. And you want them to do more than just be a face in the space. You want them to actually be involved in your company and to learn a variety of different things. You want to offer American Sign Language. There are some options that are out there in the community that can assist you if you need to use some resources for that. There's LifePrint, also known as ASL University, and they offer free lessons for beginners to learn ASL. And then there's the ASL Sign Language Pocket. And this app has over 100 interactive video lessons and a huge dictionary entries. And then you can also check with your local Center for Independent Living Centers. They offer free sign language classes. And then you can check online on Tampa Bay Things to Do. There's usually going to be your local libraries and Center for Independent Living are usually offering sign language classes at least once a year. You want to make sure that your students or the people that you work with disabilities have an opportunity to have interviews so that they're prepared for those. And you can do recruiting trips, you can do school visits, you can take them on a campus or a business tour, you can invite high school students to come in and participate, and then invite college students to participate. And you want to make sure that you allow those interviews to be, they can be verbal or they can be video interviews, they can be hybrid, or they can be in person. And the top 10 recruitment trips to attract students with disabilities is to add promotional messages and welcoming language. You want to broaden your media resources. You want to network with local, regional, and national agencies. You want to, if you can, provide scholarships, utilize peer and family connections, promote disability inclusion as an organizational value, train staff and volunteers to provide equal access to the screening and selection process, and ensure that your staff and volunteers include everybody and that they don't all look and talk alike. You can host, as I said, a Disability 101 event, and that can be a webinar. You can show a video that's already on the Department of Education, the Department of Labor, or some other webinar. You can borrow a webinar from our webinar archives and show it and then have a discussion about it. You can incorporate it into your onboarding process at your agencies. You want to make sure that in part of the onboarding process is that you have a tour so people know where they're going. And then you can always invite high school students to come in and participate in your onboarding process so that they can become familiar with that process. And so that your HR department can also become familiar with that as well. Some passive things that you can do but remain active with Disability Employment Awareness Month is you can post things on your social media. You can have a web link to National DEAM on your website. You can solicit a proclamation from your local city council every year for Disability Employment Awareness Month, and share a story of some success. You can have a management breakfast or a brown bag lunch where you talk about a disability and employment. You can hold a poster contest with a local high school, and you can have them, the poster contest can be about employment or their dream job. You can feature DEAM in your newsletter. You can make sure that it's in your social media. You can distribute the DEAM posters. You can reach out to the local media and share a story, have them do an interview, share with them someone that's a success that they want to feature so that other people in your community can know that persons with disabilities can work and do work, and that they have the opportunity to be able to follow suit and hire someone with a disability. And then you could develop a disability employment webpage, should you choose to do so. Some of the resources that are out there, USDA still does have a disability mentoring toolkit. It's in their HR and it just talks about equal access and some tips and tools to ensure that that happens. There's a white paper on mentoring as a disability inclusion strategy that is from I think this is the one from Able Trust. Able Trust in the state of Florida, they do a lot with high school high tech, and they are a great resource for disability mentoring. They're the webinar or the video called Critical Mentoring Webinar by Tori Weinstein is now called You've Got to Call This Something Else, but there's the link on there and it takes you to YouTube. So some other resources are Disability at Work, a framework for employing people with disabilities. And that talks about what employers should take into consideration when they're going to hire persons with varying disabilities. And then the National Dean website. And then there's the ARC Central has some great stuff that they've done. And we're going to see a couple videos from them because they actually created a series of videos in regards to disability employment awareness. And so I am going to go back to those videos. Does anyone have any questions before I start showing the other videos? Questions or comments? Okay. So this is Dustin's story.
Hi, welcome to McDonald's. Have a good day. My name is Dustin Winfrey. I work at McDonald's. I'm a greeter. I've been here almost 2 years, so it comes natural. And it's the only McDonald's in Gardner, so we get a lot of business.
Dustin is amazing. Keeps everybody in a good mood. He's pretty funny. It's fun to go hang out with him and just talk to him. The customers love him. He just brings good morale here. Makes people smile.
It's very fun when I am a regular customers come in because they know me by name. They're not scared to sit and talk with me. They usually just come in and say hi without me saying anything.
This job is an excellent fit for Dustin because he has such a big personality and he's just naturally gregarious and really enjoys people. So it makes sense for Dustin to be front and center, welcoming people in and giving them a great start to their day.
It just helps me be more independent and helps me with my communication skills and not be so hermit. Like, I like to hide when I'm home. My old team is very hard working. They were the first one to give me a chance to get out in the community and get a job. So I'm grateful for that.
I would like to say thank you to McDonald's for giving Dustin a chance. Anyone who can work and wants to work, I think, should be able to work. And that's where we come in to help make sure that they're able to stay employed and hopefully find something that they enjoy doing.
Everybody can do something. There's no reason to disregard that. We just kind of made a position for him and it worked. Other companies should just try to hire people with disabilities and see what they're capable of doing. You never know if you don't try.
There's not a lot of jobs out here for disability kids, and I was the lucky one to get hired here. Please come visit me at McDonald's.
Any questions or comments about that video? Okay, so this is Carrie and Corey's story.
My name is Corindale Dozier, but I go by Corey for short. I work in executive services.
My name is Carrie Hensley, and I work at Terracon, and I'm an executive assistant. Well, when I get here, I print off my cafe bars, and I stock all the cafe bars. When I do the inventory closet, I make sure I don't leave any boxes because Kathy doesn't like me to leave box.
As part of our executive services team, Carrie and our other part-time staff members take care of anything that we can do behind the scenes. So we do a lot of prepping of meetings, stocking of coffee bars, of our executive kitchen and of our cafe, and any special projects we can get from other teams.
I work on making sure the meetings have enough coffee, tea. I clean the tables after meetings and all sorts of other things that could help a business out.
He has really helped us on our morning. That's what our first goal was to have someone here for our morning setup for meetings. But he has just really stretched himself as far as doing additional tasks.
Because I'm employed, I'm able to actually move around, do all sorts of fun things at work, as well as enjoy myself more than I normally do when I'm at home.
I think it makes me feel more independent because I've been here so long, and I feel like I can accomplish a lot more tasks now that I've learned a lot more here.
It gives her that independence. It gives her that sense of worthiness.
I'm more independent around, my job. I am able to support myself more financially because of it, and I'm also able to walk around or use Uber if I need to.
He lives nearby, so he's able to walk here, and I love it that he wears his safety vest every time he walks into work or leaves, and actually he does it when he gets a ride to and from work too, but he understands our safety culture very well.
It just gives him a sense of purpose because he relates to this job.
Well, since I've been at Terracon, I'm able to buy things that I want, go shopping, and have a little bit of money left over for little things.
We really do strive for independence and perfection and excellence as far as, getting this population to have a sense of purpose and to thrive in the community, just like everyone in the community wants to do. And that's what JCDS, along with Terracon and other agencies and companies, does for this population.
Well, I want more companies to hire people with disabilities like me to show that even though we're disabled in different ways, we can actually do our jobs correctly. We just might need a prompt every now and then, but we can actually do the job better than some people because we know how to pay attention when we need to.
I think more people with disabilities should have more, able to get whatever job they want, no matter if they have disabilities or not. I think that shouldn't keep them from getting a good job, I don't think it matters if you have a disability or not. Everybody's, different. Not everybody's going to be the same. Like if everybody was the same in life, it would be so boring.
Okay, so this is the ARC, which stands for the ARC of Chesapeake. And they did a series of videos for National Dean Month. And after these set of videos, we're going to talk about some of the local ones that I know about and things that have happened, and have a discussion about what you can do in your local community or commit to do for 2025 to ensure that National Disability Employment Awareness Month continues.
October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Hi, my name is Wesley Witherspoon. I'm a council member at large, and I'm the chair of the ESC, which is Employment First Committee. We try to find ways to have people with disabilities find jobs, because that's one of the biggest barriers for people with disabilities is find work. There's very few people in competitive integrated employment, which is really low.
Hi, my name is Olivia Rayner, and I am the director of the Tarzan Center at the University of California, Los Angeles. So nationally, the figures right now run at about 31% of people with disabilities that are employed. That's the most recent statistics. It also is the equivalent number of essentially the number of individuals, the percent of individuals that are actually in the labor force. We even have a more complicated picture here in California, in that there's probably about 12 to 14% of individuals with developmental disabilities who are in receipt of services from our regional center that are indeed in integrated employment. It's less clear how many are actually in competitive integrated employment. The consequence of this is very serious for people with disabilities, as many are relegated to a lifetime of poverty, isolation, and dependence on public services.
Any comments or remarks in regards to this video? You guys are a quiet group today. Thank you for that comment. Vivian says their dedication to their job is very stellar, and they seem to be very enthused about doing their best. She loves it. I'm glad. So this is going to be another video that they did.
And it really begins at birth with everyone, both the health professionals, educators, families, from the get-go, raising expectations and setting out a vision of opportunity that includes in childhood early responsibilities around the home to later growth in exploring the child or young adult's interests, abilities, and capabilities for pursuing their interests and later a career.
My father, since I was little, I'm the youngest of 5, he would always have me do the same things as my sisters. Make the bed, wash dishes, sweep. He didn't isolate me.
Okay, so my question for you, and you can unmute yourselves, it's very possible. Who in this group, outside of Cheryl Cook, because I have a question for her, I saw her log on, so we're going to have a discussion about Hillsborough County Disability Employment Awareness Month. And what have you noticed or seen or done for yourself in regards to Disability Employment Awareness Month in your area? Anyone? You can use your reaction buttons, your hands. How many here have ever participated in a Disability Employment Awareness Month event? Okay, Catherine has. Katie Rice has. Okay. Robin Hockett has. Okay. How many of you have ever provided a Disability 101 webinar to an employer or some agency in the community? KR raised her hand, and Alex said she's mostly heard about DEEM as it relates to high school students. Okay. Vivian and her group, they have not. And so the goal of this is that everyone gets an opportunity to think about what they could do in 2025 for Disability Employment Awareness Month. How many of you are employers? You hire other people. Raise your hand, raise your hand. You have people working for you. Okay. AB has people working for him. How many of you are employed? CP says UNF and Florida Blue partner for an event where they train employers regarding job seekers who have disabilities, and they also do a reverse job fair. Awesome. Those are great ideas. And Alex says representing Project Search in Zoo Tampa is our host business. I love Project Search, and I'm so glad that they now have it for adults. Anyone else? Yes, I love them. And Praveen said we are all employed here as waiver support coordinators. So what if as a waiver support coordinator, or what if as an employment professional, provider professional, that you find someone to job shadow you on the third Wednesday of October? Who's willing to do that? You bring them in, you tell them what you do. Who's willing to bring someone in on the third Wednesday in October and allow a person with an intellectual or developmental disability job shadow you? Especially if it's someone who's interested in doing work, office work, or advocacy work, or social work, or some kind of office work. And just let them job shadow you for the day. And you may say, what good is that going to do? Or one, it's going to give a person an opportunity to see a different type of job other than those that they've typically been seeing. And it's going to help them obtain some experience in what you do. Because you can assign some tasks to them, teach them how to do a task and assign it to them. And you may find out that you may want this person to come back and volunteer and do some other things with you in the future. As long as APD gives the okay. We'll have to have a talk with APD about that. Alex says her goal is to offer tours during October for the community, see what their interns do at the zoo Tampa. That's good. And someone else said that that will require clearance from APD. So that's a discussion I'm willing to have with APD. And if you're willing to be in that discussion with APD, write your name in the chat and put /APD discussion, and I'll make sure to reach out to you about that. So Cheryl Cook, are you still on here? Are you able to talk? Prior to COVID.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Okay. So prior to COVID, the Hillsborough County School Board used to do a huge disability employment awareness month. There were probably 20 employers that were used on that specific day, including USF, the zoo, the museum, the aquarium, and other businesses all across the Tampa Bay area. And we also had probably a group of 50 community partners who helped put that together. And that meant those community partners were helping to find employers and also to help recruit students to sign up. And Cheryl, can you tell people who you work for and some of the type of places that your customers were able to job shadow for Disability Employment Awareness Month?
Yes. Thank you, Denise, for bringing this up because, I was wondering what happened to Dean because I hadn't heard from it about it in a long time. And also, well, I'm an employment specialist with the Tampa Lighthouse for the Blind and Low Vision. And we were a participant in a kickoff with Dean for a very long time. I think it'll be a good thing for us to get back into it and get more involved. I do have another coworker that works with me with job placement for the Lighthouse. We did help with gathering, getting employers to participate in Dean during the years before COVID. Some of them was retail. Some of them was hotels. Some of them was schools. A lot of businesses involved in restaurants. A lot of business involved in just a lot of entry level for those that wanted to be involved on hands-on employment. Those are the areas that we worked on here with the Lighthouse because we work with individuals who are visually impaired, are totally blind. We did help work with Denise and other employers in finding job shadowing in a lot of areas. Lawyer offices, just like you said, colleges, you name it. Any place that individual had an interest, we tried our best to find those employers to mate them with, get them a good foundation to start in their careers. So I look forward to getting started again, getting more involved.
Yeah, we'll have to put something on the calendar because in each year we featured an employer who hired someone who had worked with them on Disability Employment Awareness Month. And I know one of the last ones we did, it was Wawa's. And the guy worked making food, beverages, and drinks. And he had been, and that person had been there for several years. And they were starting to hire individuals at other Wawa stores. And they loved the experience. I've done some interviews or webinars with, there was an employer, I think it's called 3D Technology or something like that in the Tampa Bay area. And he actually revamped his onboarding process and how they train their employees to do jobs after working with individuals with disabilities. So it's a great opportunity. And that is something that I am interested in doing, is trying to get something done for October of this year so that we can have something going on across the state. I know in the Hillsborough County area, the person who was doing it prior to COVID was transferred to a different job. And so that role didn't get picked back up by anyone. But that's a discussion that we can have, and we should meet to talk about that. And also talk with APD and see if their current restrictions allow them to do anything like that. Are there any questions or comments in regards to Disability Employment Awareness Month? And also in Hillsborough County, we met monthly for probably for the 9 months prior to Dean. And then we also had a big breakfast the day before, the week before the event actually happened. And we had a nice local restaurant that always catered that breakfast for free. They offered the space and catered it for free. So the committee members didn't have to come out of pocket for anything. And we utilized a lot of students either had to get there on themselves, or if it was a school that was participating, then the school provided the transportation to the job site. And usually all the students from that school went to the same place, just to make it easier on commuting or transportation. And so that's some things that can be talked about. And if you're interested in doing it and you need to brainstorm some ideas or you come up with some issues, you can always email me or call me and we can talk through that to see how it can happen in your area. Any questions or comments? So is anyone on here aside from Cheryl and Alex not a waiver support coordinator? If you are not a waiver support coordinator, please raise your hand. Okay. Okay. Cool. Net Z, do you think that'd be something that APD would be interested in allowing to happen with the waiver support coordinators?
We could probably work something out.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, thank you, thank you, ma'am. So we have most of you are waiver support coordinators, except for about 5 of you, 6 including myself. But that's something that's a discussion that could be worked out. And you may only have one person come to your office, you know, and you tell them, show them what you do. I know when I did it at the Michigan One Stop, and there is a lot of confidentiality that goes on, we had different stations in the workshop. So there was a receptionist, there was a security guard, I was a supervisor, and then we had case managers, and we had the computer lab room. And so people shadowed in each of those places. We usually had 6 to 8 people each year that would come in to each of the one stops and job shadow in all the departments and areas. So it can work. And then I even got the Detroit Public Schools to also start allowing it to happen in the schools. Then you didn't have to provide transportation. Just create some, and you have all those jobs in the school. Everyone should be able to job shadow somebody who wants to participate in Disability Employment Awareness Month. So there's a way to do it and some discussions that can be had. AZ, you have a question? Annette, your hand's still up.
No, I don't have a question. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Here's my
So,
hand.
I am going to give you back 10 minutes of your time, or about 5 minutes of your time, because I got a couple more slides. But if you need to contact me, my information is here. I will make sure that you all get a copy of the slides. I'll send it out right after this. The certificate should work. It's already set up. You need to complete the evaluation. And you can take the survey mobilely or on a computer. You can scan the QR code, or you can do the QR code. And I will try to get the QR code real quick so I can put it into the chat. And it will, once you complete the certificate, it will redirect you to another link. Now, if your computer is set up to block sharing, then you won't see it. And I apologize for that. And you just let me know and I'll send you the link. So here's the link for the thing. And when the certificate comes up, make sure you type your name in it and then print it as edited so that it comes out with your name on it. Okay? Any questions about that? So some things that are coming up. Safe Kids Day is coming up. I know in this area for the Suncoast region, it's going to be held in Polk County in Wesley Chapel. And so check your local areas to see what Safe Kids Day events are going to occur. It's a great event for young and old. You Matter here at USF is they're having virtual open houses every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. They accept individuals from across the state. So if you're interested in that, you can let them attend one of the virtual open houses. And they are expanding to be now located at both St. Pete and Tampa campuses. And then I've already told you guys about Launch in the Past. So Launch is a program that's also available and it's open to individuals from statewide. The applications, I think, for the fall are already full, but you can always apply for the upcoming years, and it's a one-year transition program like You Matter. And then our employment virtual conference for 2025 is going to be on May 20th from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And this year's theme is creating synergy for tomorrow's workforce, employment engagement, and the information and the agenda already on the website. And I've already gotten APD credit, 5 credit hours for that event. Then on the 27th of this month, I am going to be hosting Goodwill Industries of Southwest Florida, and they're going to be talking about just navigating disability services. It's primarily for self-advocates and parents and caregivers on how to assist them, how to complete the new APD online application. And so they're doing that across the state, and so I thought to do it, and I decided to do it in the evening so that the parents and the caregivers and the self-advocates could actually be present in case they're working or in school during the day. And then McDonald's Training Center, they're having open houses for their innovation program. And there's more information that will be shared from there. And then this one was the Impact of Fatherhood. It's a free conference for males, and it's going to be virtual and in person. There's both ways to do it, and it's offered by the Hillsborough County Public Schools and the Department of Family and Community Engagement, and they offered the flyer in both English, Spanish, and Haitian. And so I thought that was really cool. So I wanted to share that information as well. And if you have any events that are happening in your area that you'd like to share, you can send that to me and I can send it out to our contact list so we can increase attendance for you or in the future. Does anybody have any questions at all? Any comments? DJ, your hand is up.
Oh, no, so I don't have any comment.
Okay. So I thank you all for your time and your attention. Cheryl, if you stay on the line, we can schedule something for the future, or if you're anyone who's interested in working with bringing Disability Employment Awareness Month back or work with hosting a kickoff, you can stay on and we're just going to schedule something for the very near future. Have a great day.
Please visit our website for more information about our programs, projects, and how you can get involved.